$100 bills, and it kills and it thrills like the horns on my Silverado grill. And I buy the bar a double round of Crown, and everybody's getting down in this town. Ain't never gonna be the same, 'cause I saddle up my horse and I ride into the city. I make a lot of noise 'cause the girls, they are so pretty. Riding up and down Broadway on my old stud Leroy, and the girls say, save a horse, ride a cowboy. Everybody says, save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Tongues of fire on Idris flaring, news of foe and declaring, through heroic deeds of daring,
Okay.
for you Harlech man.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Noah here from Tag and Bag Outdoors. Today we have another reloading video. It's going to be on the 577 450 Martini Henry Smokeless load that we have. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be taking 577 Nitro Express brass instead of 24 gauge shot shell holes. We have 577 Nitro Express brass. We're going to be cutting it down to 2.29 to 2.27 inches, and we are going to neck size it to 577 450, and we are going to be annealing it also, and we're going to be basically replicating the original cartridge that was used in the Martini Henry Mark IV. This is a Mark IV that we got from ima-usa.com. They are getting very expensive, so if you want to buy one, now's the time to try and pick one up. I mean, this one I picked up for about $550, but now you can get them in an untouched category. They're probably about like $650, you know, to maybe even $700. And then you have the new ones where they're complete and cleaned, and they're around like $900. They're getting up to $1,000 in price. So I would definitely pick one up if you can. You can also get different models. You can get the Frank-Cott pattern rifles, which I don't recommend you shooting out of those ones. You can get the Gahendra pattern rifles. Some of them you can shoot, some of them you can't. And you can also get the Mark 1s, 2s, and 3s, I believe, from that website also. And those particular ones, the British-made Martini Henrys, are the ones that you're, you know, better off shooting. And the Mark IVs are the best version to get if you want a shooter, which is why I bought this one, you know. So we talked a little bit about, you know, the rifle. So let's get started on actually reloading the ammunition for it. So this is a standard 3-inch 577 Nitro Express brass. I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it on here on this. This is a 2-inch benchtop cutoff saw made by Drill Master. I have a certain method for cutting these. Instead of measuring it and writing, you know, a line on it and then cutting it, I'm actually going to take it, I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to measure from the top of this, I guess, the end of right there, to the tip of the shell, and I'm going to measure it, and it's supposed to be 2.35 inches. .26. Okay, so I'm gonna loosen it, and hopefully this will give us close to 2.29 inches. 2.35. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to cut it. Also, wear glasses. I forgot to put them on because you don't want to get a piece of brass in your eye because that's not going to be a good day. I got all this shit here. I'm going to try and turn it. And then I am going to line it up. And I'm going to do it again. Line it up the best I can. If I can try and actually get this thing to line up properly. That's it. Okay, so now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm basically going to smooth this out on a piece of sandpaper. Smooth it out the best you can. You're going to measure it. That's at 2.30 inches, which means that that's awesome in my opinion, because that means that we can take this casing and we can smooth it out to 2.29 inches. Which is awesome. So, we're probably just going to do one casing for you guys, you know, just to give you an idea, and to also, we don't really want to lengthen the video as much as we can. Okay, so that's 2.29, which is good. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to anneal this, and then after that, it's all, you know, trial and error from there, and we're going to go up to the reloading press. Okay. Okay, people, our next step here after we've trimmed our brass to 2.29 inches is that we're going to start annealing this piece of brass right here so that we can go up and we can put it through the full length sizing die. Our next step here is what we're going to do. We got a drill here with a socket adapter, and this is a 3/4 inch socket, and the socket adapter's on here so we can put the shell in there and we can turn it just like that. Okay, you're going to need that because when you anneal this with this torch here, you want this to spin. And while it's doing that, it's covering the whole shell. So I'm going to anneal it. I'm going to put this piece of brass in there. I'm going to spin it. And I'm going to turn this on. Now, when I start heating this brass up, you're going to want to look for, you know, a certain color. Alright, most people recommend that you put it and dump it into the water when it turns like a purplish, orange color, and then after that it gets red and white. As long as you see the tip of the brass here turn like, not like a cherry red, but more of like an orangish color, that's what you're looking for. That's when you're going to dump this piece of brass in this bucket of water right here. And why we're doing this is because we're going to stretch out the molecules inside the brass, and we're going to soften the metal of the brass. All the molecules are going to spread out, and they're kind of going to just relieve all of the hardness inside of this brass right here. Okay, so all we're doing is we're just softening the brass so we can make it easier to anneal. So here we go. And I'm not turning it super fast. I could if I want to. I mean, that's pretty good right there. Usually when I turn it really fast, it starts to wobble like crazy. But that's okay right there. And then you can slow it down, speed it up. I'm going to keep heating it up until it turns, yeah, like that. Like it's wobbling like crazy when I do that. Yep. So I'm going to slow it down. And when it's spinning, you have to make sure that it spins equally. You can kind of go like up and down the casing if you want. If you're using a bigger torch, you're just going to want to go like this. But if you're using something small, then you want direct heat. Okay, so the tip of the casing is starting to turn red, well, orange, and it's starting to go down, which is what we want, and I'm going to dump it. Okay. Alright, so after that, I'm going to take this out, because once it hits the water, it's cooled off. Alright. Now all we're going to need to do is to just dry it. Dry it from the inside and also dry it from the outside. And after that, we're going to go up to the full-length sizing die, and we're going to size this piece of brass. Alright. Alright guys, so the next thing that we're going to do here is we are going to case form this casing. Okay, we're going to neck and shoulder form it. What you have to know also with these dies, this is a monstrous die. Okay, this is a 1 1/4 inch threading die, which calls for a larger thread size. Get yourself a Lee Cast Classic with the 1 1/4 die set. Okay, so you can take this off right here, and you can put, you know, whatever size die you want to. You can put 43 Spanish, you could do 577 450, 577 Snyder, and even the Mighty 50 BMG. So what I'm going to do, this is the shell holder for it. It fits right in there. And even though this is a 577 Nitro, it'll fit just in there like it's made for it. We're going to put this in here. I'm going to put that in there. Now, also, we got to get some case lube.
And the primer.
And also, I forgot this primer holder right here. This is a small pistol primer. I'm sorry, a large pistol primer. We're using number 300 large pistol primers by CCI to prime these. Okay, so what I'm going to do before I do this is you got to put, put a reasonable amount of, case lube on the casing right here. Get around it too. you know, make sure you definitely have enough of it, because you don't want to get this thing stuck in there, because that's obviously, that is not good. You know, I always double coat this. You can never have too much case lube on it. I mean, you can, but, you know, that should be fine. That's a lot of case lube. Okay, now what I'm going to do with this full length sizing die is what we're doing is we're forming the neck and the shoulder slowly. We're not going to just turn this thing in there and just ram it up in there, because you're going to split the casing. I guarantee you're going to do that. Okay, so I'll show you, I'll demonstrate it here. What you're going to do, I'm going to turn this a few times, and we're going to put it up in there. Okay, now it just started to form the shoulder. Okay. Now I'm going to take it out and I'm going to inspect it. Make sure there's no cracks or anything. And if there is, don't worry, you know, don't freak out. You can always get, what is it called? I guess some type of a trim tool or something like that. I forget what it's called, but just give it a little buzz and, you know, you'll be good. Okay, so I'm going to turn it a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to keep turning. And you're just going to slowly turn. Okay. And I have these things in there that this isn't really holding this tightly, but, you know, it works. Okay, we're almost done. Okay, so that's almost complete. Make sure you got no dents, no wrinkles or anything. I'm going to hammer that again. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit more lube on here for my final push, because that's really important. You want to make sure that this case is nice and formed. And then after that, we're going to prime it. That was a stretch. And there you go. You have what is a formed 577 450 Martini Henry case. That is awesome. Now I do have I have steel wool somewhere. I'll just take steel wool and I'll brush the outside of it so it looks really nice and shiny. Go ahead and, well, okay, so I got some steel wool here. I'm going to take the steel wool and I'm just going to brush it off. And there you go. It's nice and shiny. Looks pretty. So, you know, you get a little bit of markings and stuff on your casings. Just use steel wool. Maybe a little WD-40. Put it on there. A little steel wool won't hurt. Okay. So, I'm going to take this off. Alright. Now we're going to prime this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in there. We're going to put a large pistol primer in here. And then after this, what we're going to do is we're going to put powder in the casing. And we're going to put all our other crap in there. And then we're going to seat the bullet. And that's going to be it, guys. It's in there nice and flush. Pretty good. And you want to get the primer basically like deep inside of the primer pocket. You don't want it, you know, coming out or anything like that, because the thing too is like you got the breech block that comes up, and if it comes up and it swipes that primer, you're gonna have a discharge, I guarantee it. So you got to make sure that that primer is deep inside that primer pocket and it's not sticking out. Okay, all right, well, I'm gonna get some powder loaded up. I'm gonna put some powder in this thing, and then I'm gonna put some cotton in here to space up, you know, the mass inside of the casing. And after that, we're gonna seat the bullet. So, all right, go ahead. All right, so we got our powder over here, and now what we're gonna do is we're honestly just gonna put some powder in here.
How much powder?
We're putting 16 grains of red dot in here, which is a pretty, you know, good, decent load. And, okay, I'm going to put that right here, and I'm going to put 16 grains of red dot in there. These are basically gallery loads for the Martini Henry, so they're not going to kick like a mule at all. It's going to be like shooting, I guess you would say, maybe like a 223 Remington, you know. And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to fill the space inside of the casing. We don't have to use a filler because we're using smokeless powder, and it's not really pressure sensitive. So, also I wanted to note, you can load smokeless powder with your Martini Henry. You just have to use a smaller percent of, you know, just get it to, I guess, the size. You want to try and get it to the size of a cotton ball. But you have to use like a smaller percentage of like smokeless powder. So like if you're using 85 grains of 1F black powder, you're probably going to use around like 40 grains of like Reloader 15 or something like that. If you're using like a very high caliber, you know, load. But I like to use red dot and gallery loads. I'm going to take this tire gauge right here, and I'm going to attempt to push all the cotton down in here. Get in there. And you're going to feel all the volume up right here. And when you shoot this, sometimes you're going to see a little puff ball push out of the Martini. Alright, now the last thing that we need to do, guys, this is it right here. All we're going to do is we're just going to load this bullet. So this right here is a 380 grain pill. Okay, this is a it's not a 468 diameter. This is a 470 diameter. So I'm going to load this a little bit differently than what I do with a 468. I have to turn this almost all the way up. And instead of just jamming it in there, because then it will jam, we're going to turn this thing, this top thing in here slowly. And you want to get it yeah, see, okay, that's going in there pretty nice. Now we're going to turn it a little bit, and we're going to keep forming it. until all that, until this crevice right here is covered. In between these is bullet lube. We'll do another video later on how to make bullet lube. Okay, and you're gonna get little shavings and stuff because it is a 470 diameter. You want to do this carefully. Yep, it's forming that bullet. And we're basically almost there. And boom. Guys, that's it right there. This is officially a 577 450 Martini Henry. That is what the bullet looks like. And to me, that's a monster. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video on how to make these. I mean, they do take a lot of time and effort. You have to have all the equipment, and it's very expensive to make these, but it's so worth it shooting these guns. You know, I guess the next step is us, we're going to test fire these. We're going to get a day, I guess, shortly, and I'm going to put it in the video here next. We're going to shoot this thing, okay? And hopefully, you know, I mean, it's going to go well. I've shot these 16 grains, but, you know, I just want to show you guys that you can shoot smokeless loads out of your Martini. So, alright, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. We're going to shoot these things. Alright. Well, we got the Martini out at the range. We reloaded for it. We reloaded the 577 450. We're going to take a couple shots. We got a man-sized target down there at 50 yards. We also have a steel plate down there at 50 yards. We're going to try and hit this thing right here. What do you say, guys? So, as you would normally, into the breech, into the gun, pull up on the lever, and try and hit that target right there. Probably hit the human target. I'm going to go for the steel plate.
Right to the right.
To the right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm hitting dead on then.
There you go.
Yeah! I hit the gong probably dead center, 50 yards. And this came. Well, something happened with the stock because it kicked too hard. There still needs to be a little bit of work on this gun. I did do a little bit of work to the stock, but I think I'm going to have to get another upper part for the stock here. I'm going to shoot it one more time. What a rifle. You want to take a couple shots, Dan? Alright. So, with the Martini, this is my shot right here, almost dead center. That would have killed a deer. This thing right here, I think I hit there. I think I hit there, and I think I hit dead center right there. So, pretty good, Dan, for an old gun.
I'm gonna attempt to
made in 1887.
Yeah. I'm gonna attempt to take out that.
That clay right there. All right. All right, Dan's gonna shoot the Martini.
And it's ready to go.
And it's ready to go.
And you said aim towards the bottom?
Aim towards the bottom of the target, yeah. Hold on. Okay, go ahead. A little bit of a kick, but not too much.
No.
Are you hitting the person or are you?
I was hitting like the bottom towards the gong,
Okay.
but
Yeah, I
I
aim.
forgot to put my contacts in, so seeing with my glasses is hard.
Okay. There you go.
And I got the pigeon. For the play.
That's awesome. Well, I think you smacked the gong to the side. So go ahead and hit that human silhouette right there. And then, yep. And then we're gonna move up to 200 because we got one more left.
Yep.
I'm gonna see if I can hit that gong at 200 yards. All right, let's go see how you did, Dan. Dan hit the head of the target. That would have been horrific wound. That would have hit the jugular vein and that would have caused a lot of damage.
And as you can see,
And he hit low a little bit.
no. Well, a couple times, yeah.
Yeah.
But the pigeon is destroyed.
And he hit the
hit the
pigeon.
clay. I hit
Look
the
at
clay.
that crap. He hit that clay target with that Martini Henry Mark IV
At 50 yards.
at literally 50 yards.
3 shots.
3
3
shots.
shots. 3 or 4.
Awesome.
It may have been the 4th. No, it was the 3rd shot.
Third shot. We're gonna go up to the 200-yard target. I'm gonna take a last chance shot and see what happens. If I don't hit it, you'll know that this video ended. All right,
Yeah,
let's go.
This is where the first 2 went in. So,
All right.
do we want to take gong up there, or what do we want to take?
I
up?
think they have gongs up there, so we're gonna
200?
try and take it up there. Yep. All right. All right. So I can barely see the target at 200 yards, but I think we should be able to hit it. I'm gonna aim. Now this is set in meters, so I'm gonna go to 200 meters. Somebody's shooting over there.
Yeah, they're sighting in their shotguns for
And
deer or
hopefully
turkey.
we can hit this target at 200 yards. If not, I won't be surprised that we won't be able to hit it, but okay.
And we missed.
I think we missed.
We did. I heard it hit the wood, the
I did
dirt.
too.
That's all right. We'll
That's
load
okay
more.
though.
We'll load more and come back and definitely
Yeah,
try
we
again.
will. And we're gonna fix the stock also, which I tried fixing, but you know what though? The stock's not cracked like it used to be, but it's just the plate. This upper plate here keeps getting jammed up in there. So, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. We love making them. And we're going to come back with the Martini because I think we should be able to hit that gong way out there at 200 yards. And we're going to get this stock fixed here. We're also going to start loading more for this gun and see what different types of smokeless loads you can shoot out of this thing. But this proves that you can shoot smokeless loads out of your Martini Henry, you know, and it's still, I mean, this is safe. The only problem is that this thing right here keeps coming up, and I don't have the original screws for it. So we are definitely going to get this thing completely fixed, which is what I should have done in the first place. They're going out there to check their target, but besides that, the gun works fine. It fires, it functions. The only thing it needs is just new screws, and it will work, and a new fore end, and it will work perfectly fine and normal. But I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, y'all have a good one. Stay tuned for more progress.